Hello friends, what's up? I'm Kiro Wittkowski, and today we'll talk about logos once more in our discussion. In fact, after my last video on logos, here it is right here, I actually agree with the comments that it's not logos, it's more like illustrations, as many viewers have pointed out. Yes, I completely agree with you, and furthermore, I would state that what we accomplished in that video is more akin to an illustrative print, possibly for merchandise, a t-shirt, or another location. So these illustrations turned out to be really cool, expressive, and incredibly detailed. Precisely what the brand requires, precisely what is necessary in merchandise. The logo, as we are accustomed to observing it, is still a minimalist entity that communicates a narrative, personality, or maybe some pictograms indicating the company's activities. And today I am going to tell you about this new service I discovered. The service is referred to as Logo Diffusion. I can make an assumption that the service, just like Leonardo, has its origins rooted in Stable Diffusion, but I am drawing this conclusion solely based on the name it has been given. And for the purpose of the experiment, I will be utilizing the identical prompts that I wrote for these incredible lizard individuals. All right, let's go. I've actually already made multiple generations. I completely replicate this prompt and promptly proceed to Logo Diffusion. To avoid spoiling, let's start from the very beginning. We're going to Logo Diffusion. It's a free service right off the bat. Just like any other neural network services, it does give out some free tokens, of course. However, to be fair, they will not be sufficient for you to thoroughly study the product to fully explore its capabilities. And in any case, I definitely recommend, of course, to have a foreign card on hand or contacts of individuals who are capable of paying for foreign services. One of these contacts is not on advertising terms. These individuals really know their stuff. There will be a link to them below the description and possibly here. All right, the cost of Logo Diffusion is worth it. Let's take a look at the rates. So I have a $24 plan, by the way. I only remembered about this service after my second payment was deducted. So I actually paid a grand total of $24 just to learn the mechanics of all this, like for real. Overall, I actually really liked her a whole lot. However, due to my prolonged absence from logo design and it not being my primary focus, I decided to terminate the subscription and will no longer utilize it. So it is all for you. All right, let us keep going. What do we need? We need a text image tab for the next step of the process. Let's go inside. And we're making good progress. Here you can see many people from my generation, including a few minor spoilers, but it's not a big deal. These generations with these horrifying faces, that is precisely the identical damn prompt I utilized to generate these ripped reptilians from the prompt. So what I want to say is that there is this cool image, like for example, this character looks awesome. Granted, it is not exactly what I had in mind, but its geometry, its plasticity, and these vector elements are really well done. Like, a beginner designer or a beginner logo maker would not be able to create a picture of this level objectively, so it is a plus for the Logo Diffusion. It looks cool. However, it is not quite what I need in terms of the plot, so I generated a few more times, and actually more or less, something reasonable and similar came out here. I am satisfied with the outcome. So here it's more like a serpent, you know. Here it's a little more like a prehistoric creature. But anyway, it's something belonging to the reptile family, right? So the results are satisfactory. Geometry-wise, it is satisfactory. What do these pictures accomplish for you anyway? You will not need to trace them. As a result, you can promptly make an additional payment of 5 tokens for these images, and you will have the ability to instantly create a vector of your logo without any delay or waiting time. Download it in SVG format, open it in Illustrator, make edits, send it to the client, do branding and everything else. Very cool. However, let's obtain a bit more details. So these individuals here, they ended up quite good in general. Let's say this story is excellent. How did she end up? First and foremost, once you transition to the image within the text, you complete that particular prompt that you desire. In my case, it's a complete copy of the prompt from Leonardo. Then we move on to the settings. So there's this cute bird and there's a pictogram. Let's enter. There are multiple modes of generation, such as pictogram, mascots, and vintage badges with score figures, among others. Let's explore and discover the various ways of creating. In cartoon style, in icon style, in abstract style, in a linear drawing style, in a stylized manner. And here, not so long ago, 2 new versions appeared. This is the beta logo, which means they are already working with texts. And the second one is a monogram. So a monogram is really cool, especially for those who frequently make logos for, let's say, experts, for people who want to capture in their logo, in their monogram, let's say their name, the first letter of their name and surname. Here it is going to work incredibly cool. So, what about the settings? I selected the icon because it provides truly minimalist results, either in a positive or negative manner. And let's go straight to the settings. What's here? Logo style, modern or vintage. In my situation, I need a modern one. How many pieces? Just 2 settings, either minimalistic or with detailed features. I reckon this setting will be tweaked and improved over time. So, it's like we're supposed to have a fine-tuning option for the level of detail. When you are creating an image, such as a logo with character, you have the choice between a full body, which refers to the entire body, or a portrait. One of 2. Very convenient story. And here are a few logos that I used with different settings. The initial ones, these ones that do not truly resemble reptiles, they are created with a style that uses pictograms. Looks, well, I don't know, looks really cool. Got myself a little devilish character. If the task was not to make a reptile duck so clearly, then damn, you could take this and make use of it in a different way. All that's missing here is the registered trademark symbol, and this whole thing looks like a full-fledged branded story or something. Next, here are the subsequent 4 options. They were created using the mascot configuration. So, you see, they already have these characteristic glimmers with the mascot logo, a slightly larger number of details, a bit more detailing specifically in the faces, a torso appeared, hands, so it's really something mascot-like. And the ultimate option I came up with was configuring the badge. So I mentioned, let's go in right now. I brought up the shield once again. I brought up the illustrative style, selected the shape of the shield, and that is basically the extent of it in terms of the steps I took to configure the badge. And in order to demonstrate how it works, let's attempt generating once more using the identical prompt. In this instance, I will utilize the emblem. I will adopt the triangular form of our account, and I will carry out a modern minimalism approach. On average, it takes approximately 1.5 minutes to generate a total of 4 options for selection. But while a new version of the logo is being generated, I suggest taking a look at other logos being created in the Logo Diffusion community. To do this, we go to the Logo Diffusion logo or place it slightly lower. There are options here that really impress, like for real. Let's say a very simple prompt. The badass griffin is looking in the direction beside it. Looks cool, a very nice gradient. You can also see the plastic. It really looks worthy of checking out. So like we can even take this logo, convert it to a vector format, download as SVG, open in Illustrator, and continue working with it. Besides creating logos, people also make illustrations and 3D visualizations of the logos. Take the Logo Diffusion as an example. The logo is fashionable, very contemporary, good. What did the individuals do? We transformed it into KFC chicken wings. It looks amazing. There are numerous options available for what they have done with them now. They have also made cheese, which looks really cool. In this video, I also discussed how you could stylize the logo. The whole process happened in a slightly different way, but what I witnessed here in terms of logo diffusion truly impressed me. So I will definitely create a separate video about how to modify your logo in Logo Diffusion and generate some 3D compositions with it. Because it is for real, I see a massive potential in it. Besides that, these guys here do illustrations. So for instance, this car, it is not a logo at all. It is more like an illustration created using vectors. I comprehend that in Logo Diffusion, you can genuinely generate collections of vector illustrations. Logos that is clear, 3-dimensional that is clear, and a separate thing is, of course, the text. I have observed a scarcity of options for text logos that truly look impressive. And in this context, you can also see them to some degree. So if we take a closer look at this, there are some objective flaws, specifically with the typography. So here is some janky stuff happening. You can observe that if you download the vector, there is going to be a bunch of messed up vertices that you will have to fix regardless of the situation. However, maybe for someone, it could be a great starting point to take the first step towards creating a logo and then make adjustments and fine-tune it as needed. So, in summary, let's go back to what we were able to achieve and review the progress we made. So, I kind of got into the wrong mode, with the whole text and image thing. What did we end up with? We have indeed transformed our shape. In fact, we continue to possess this character that defines us to this day. This seems to be a genuine emblem. You can take it, send it to the company, have it embroidered, attach it to yourself, or sew it onto your shoulder. Looks okay. We have space for the text, but the character, I can't say it's like a reptile or anything. This is a mix of a reptile and either a monkey or a gorilla. However, in any case, it already looks incredibly impressive. There is an option that is less successful, which means that this is objectively not the right way. He obviously has issues with his chest. Why did he choose to make it white in this area? Well, it truly resembles a bra. We still have a triangle, but it transformed into a freaking mountain. Perhaps in some places it would be considered suitable. I actually prefer this story more. However, once again, it is not a reptile. It is more similar to a monkey. But in terms of contrast, in terms of composition, I like this option more. I really don't like this story with the pyramid growing out of his head, but it's really simple. I am interested in hands-on illustration. As you can see, the available options are truly excellent. And now let's have a brief conversation about electrification. Apart from this prompt, I managed to acquire another prompt. Prompt here with this shark. Thus, it is also a shark dance that adds to the excitement and thrill of the performance. So I haven't strayed far from the topic of bodybuilders and sports. I take this prompt and I create new variations for it. Currently, they are slightly elevated. What do we possess here, huh? Let us simply go through everything. From a geometric standpoint, take a look, it's quite fascinating. So here is the fin, here is this story, everything on the radiuses appears impressive. On the other hand, there are more details. Honestly, this tail here is unnecessary. Why his hand changed into a shark's tail is also unclear. But these are the nuances that you definitely need to track and generate, not just one option, 4, 8, 16. Then you will definitely find some suitable option for you. This option is complete nonsense. This option is already nothing. This option is cool, and I even vectorized it. I downloaded it in SVG, and let's see how it looks in Illustrator. This option is absolutely accurate. Everything is vectorized, so there is no need to worry about anything. But, as I suspected, there are quite big problems with small details. Thus, the significant forms have been resolved flawlessly. There are no issues with the big forms. I cannot even express that there is an overwhelming number of vertices in this specific situation. There's just a few of them here. Well, there are some nuances in the corners. For example, maybe right here you could solve everything with just one move and wrap it up if necessary. However, the teeth in this particular case pose a significant issue. It is important to remember that when creating logos like this, or any logo with intricate elements, you will need to carefully refine or potentially recreate them from scratch. But one way or another, by generating such a logo option, you can send drafts, sketches to the client in 15 minutes. You will be able to objectively create approximately 50 logos per week instead of only one. So we can enhance the number of orders, perhaps even decrease the cost of the logos themselves, but ultimately have a significantly larger amount of money for the completed project. So give it a try, use it, definitely subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the Sexy Prompt channel. We've started restoring it. There are already over 400 subscribers there. We share prompts there, and we'll also share various news related to design, neural networks, etc. Thank you for tuning in, and we look forward to your next visit.